Hey, what's up guys? Today we are talking about beginner running form, the secrets of your stride, and I'm actually on my bike because I want to talk to you about your stride and your cadence and how running is a lot like riding a bike. Now, I like the bike analogy because I like to think about running in different gears. You know, the way we run on the flats, the way we run uphill, the way we run downhill is really all different gears if we think about it. Just like when I'm going up a hill, I can shift into a smaller gear on my bike. On the flats, I can shift to a middle gear, and then I can shift into that bigger gear as well. So I've got all those different gears for me. And when we think about how we ride, there's a pushing component where my leg pushes down. There's a pulling component where my leg actually pulls up and over. And so I can see that when I look at my legs, that for a nice pedal stroke, I have to push and pull together. Push over the top, pulling back, otherwise it gets a little disjointed. But when I do it nice and smooth, it looks sort of like this. When I want to run faster, all I need to do is shift, or ride faster, all I need to do is shift in that bigger gear. The same thing. When all I need to do is running faster, I need to shift in that bigger gear as well. That bigger gear, in a lot of respects, is going to be our stride. Our stride is going to start to lengthen us a little bit. The same way we get into that bigger gear so that my cadence is relatively consistent in that range, you know, that 85 to 95 plus or minus a few things, whatever fits you. Remember, there's not one hard number. But if I can think about that cadence being consistent, I can lengthen my stride and I can shorten my stride, just like changing gears on a bike. That way I can get up this hill. So this next piece, I'm gonna show you a little workout you can do running to practice this cadence in these different gears, going uphill, going on the flat, and going down hills. I will be in magically different clothes at that point, so you'll be able to see that, and you'll be able to put this thing together and it'll really start to click for you.
Now, once I figured out this pushing thing, I want to talk about the pulling aspect, and the pulling aspect is going to be a more active, hamstring and glute engagement to pull my leg up off the ground. And a thing that's beneficial about this is that when I pull this leg up off the ground, once again, it allows for tension in the body that is productive tension. It helps support my body so that my hips are stable and everything's aligned. The other thing that's nice about this is that pulling goes in with cadence. A lot of times when I get tired, when I get fatigued, I lose my posture. A lot of times what happens is that I'm actually not picking my legs up off the ground very well. I'm not pulling my legs up off the ground very well. My cadence drops, my feet laying on the ground, really heavy, really slow. Things just get kind of mushy and kind of ugly. So one of the things we can do to think about improving this is thinking about a pull. And one of the best ways to think about pulling is to actually use a little metronome. Sometimes you hear numbers of, 90, as a great place to start. I want to make sure we don't go too far down the rabbit hole of one numbers is important for everyone. It's really going to be a range. I'd probably say, if you're in the 85 to 90 plus range, you're pretty good. This is going to be a cadence of 91 just right here. And then when I run, I can think about running and picking my feet up with every little beep right there. Now, I'm running in a cadence, my feet are picking straight up underneath me, but I'm not moving anywhere. And when you notice that when you're running faster, it's always a combination of two things. It's a combination of your cadence, your stride rate, how often you pick your feet up off the ground in that 1 minute. We say 90 times would be 90 for one leg, for example, or 180 for both feet. And the other one is going to be stride length. How big that stride is and how big my step is every time I take. Man, it is windy out here. Guys, there's a storm of brewing, but we're gonna keep going anyway because hey, we're runners and we gotta get this business done. We gotta all of a sudden lengthen that stride, and that longer stride in conjunction with our cadence is gonna be the two things that's really gonna get the job done in terms of running faster. So remember, when I had this band in my first example, all of a sudden, this band winds up, I'm then pushed position. All of a sudden, when this leg swings back, it doesn't just pick straight up. In reality, what happens is it goes back and forward. So my foot really goes the same path as like a wheel. When I'm running slow, like up a hill, my cadence is high, but the wheel's pretty small. The heel's not picking up very much. When I start going faster, that gear gets a little bit bigger, gets a little bit bigger, gets a little bit bigger. Then all of a sudden when I'm sprinting or I'm going downhill, all of a sudden I got that big elastic snap that occurs. So pushing and pulling goes together. Hips go forward, that allows for better hip extension. I think about actively picking those legs up. I could think about picking my feet up directly underneath me, but I want to remember that it's a very circular style motion that occurs. That distance and extension is really what gives us our speed, in addition to being into that range of a nice higher cadence. The way we're going to practice this thing, I'm going to tell you in the next segment, is going to involve a metronome. It's going to involve running uphill on the flats and downhill. All right, so guys, for this next piece, to practice our ability to run in these different gears and to really understand how pushing and pulling go together, what I want you to do is practice running the same cadence, but running both uphill on the flats and on the downhill. And so the only thing that's going to change is the length of your stride, how big that bicycle wheel is. Is it going to be in a small gear, like I've downshifted on a bike and I'm going up a steep hill? Am I on the flats, a middle gear, or am I rip-roaring on a downhill in a nice big gear? So one of my favorite timers, it's called Metro Timer. It looks like this. We'll put a little link in the video for you. You might not be able to see this, but that's okay. I can set this to whatever I like. Right now I have this set to 91 just because there's not one number that's perfect for us, but this is the workout I want you to do. I want you to find an uphill and I want you to run 3 by 30 seconds up that hill, focusing on the cadence. You're gonna notice that you're gonna have to shorten up your steps a lot to maintain that cadence, and that's gonna be running in a really small gear. You're gonna walk or, easy recovery back down, but just 3 by 30 seconds there. The next one is gonna be the same thing, 3 by 30 seconds flat running. You're gonna notice that when you run on the flat, your stride is gonna be a little bit longer. That wheel, that gear is gonna be a little bit larger. You can, chill in between and relax, go again. None of this has to be fast. Just an idea to focus on this cadence and this relationship between your cadence and your leg extension. And then what I want, and this is gonna be the interesting and fun one, is 3 by 30 seconds downhill, holding on to that cadence. What this is gonna allow you to do is really lengthen that stride out the back, really open up those hips, and you're gonna really feel what it means to fly that way. So 3 by 30 uphill, on the flat, and downhill. You'll start to put this all together. This will really start to make sense for you.
Guys, just one more thing before you get out of here. If you like this video and beginner running form, let us know. Hit that like button. If you have any comments or questions that we talked about today, hit us up in the comments. We love that conversation. Definitely subscribe to The Run Experience. We got so many great videos on beginner running form, injury prevention, running technique, run workouts, everything. Just definitely hit that subscribe button. Finally, we got a free gift for you. A 2-week quick start to stronger running, better running technique, injury prevention, mobility, all stuff you can do at home. Is fantastic. 2 weeks of training for free. All you need to do to get it is click this link in the video. If you're like me, you're on your phone, there's a description down below. There's a link down in the description. All you need to do is hit that. Either way, it'll take you to a page where once you're on that page, get your name and email in there. I'll be able to personally send you that free 2 weeks training, of course, when I'm done with my ride. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.